You open your banking app at the end of the month and you run into a paranormal phenomenon that affects millions of people in 2026. The money is gone, but you have nothing impressive to show for it. You didn't buy a yacht. You didn't invest in some Silicon Valley startup. You didn't travel the world. The balance is just in critical condition. You look around and everything seems fine. You're following the steps society calls normal. You work your hours, you pay your subscriptions, and you allow yourself little treats because, after all, that's what you work for. And that's exactly where the danger lives. In personal finance, what we call normal is often a blueprint designed to keep you living day to day while other people get rich off your lack of strategy. Today we're going to dismantle 7 habits that most people consider harmless, even logical, but that are in reality the architects of your financial stagnation. Habit number 1: instant gratification disguised as self-care. The first habit, and maybe the most socially accepted, is the dangerous trap of instant gratification dressed up as self-care. We live in the era of cheap dopamine. If you have a hard day at work, you feel like the universe owes you compensation. Delivery food, a piece of clothing you don't need, the latest tech gadget. You tell yourself, I deserve it. And sure, you do deserve the best. But here's the problem. You're trading your future freedom for a pleasure spike that lasts exactly as long as it takes to receive a receipt. When emotional spending becomes normal, your checking account turns into a sieve. 99% of people spend money to feel good today without realizing that every time they give in to that impulse, they're stealing a piece of safety and peace from their future self 10 years from now. Real financial maturity starts when you stop being a hostage to your 6 p.m. impulses. Habit number 2: constant lifestyle upgrades. Ego inflation. Following that, we run into the second habit: constant lifestyle upgrading, or what I like to call ego inflation. It's fascinating and terrifying. It's the phenomenon where every time your income goes up, your expenses sprint to catch up with shocking speed. You get a €300 raise and suddenly, magically, you need a more expensive gym, a nicer car package, or an apartment in a neighborhood with a more impressive name. It's a rat race where the finish line moves every time you take a step. Normal people think success is showing you have money, when the truth is, wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is the money you didn't spend. If your spending level is always chasing your income level, it doesn't matter whether you make €1,000 or €10,000. You'll always be one paycheck away from collapse. Keeping a modest lifestyle while your income grows is the ultimate hack. Society calls it being cheap, but the 1% calls it freedom. Habit number 3: passive management of small leaks. The subscription economy. The third habit that keeps you poor without you noticing is the passive management of tiny leaks, better known as the subscription economy. In 2026, companies don't want to sell you a product anymore. They want to rent your life. You've got a subscription for streaming, another for music, another for cloud storage, another for a gym you go to twice a month, and if you're not careful, another one to have coffee pods delivered to your door. Individually, they look insignificant. It's the price of a drink, they say. But the sum of these little financial parasites creates constant bleeding. What's normal now is having 5 to 10 active subscriptions you don't even monitor. It's the financial equivalent of leaving every faucet in your house dripping, and then wondering why your water bill is so high. Wealthy people understand cash flow is king, and they don't allow outside companies automatic access to their accounts unless there's a clear return on investment. Habit number 4: using credit for everyday consumption. Now we move to the fourth habit, one of the most destructive and cynical of our era: using credit for daily consumption. We've normalized living with money that isn't ours: credit cards, fast loans for vacations, and the famous buy now, pay later that floods every online store. Society sells credit as an extension of your purchasing power, when in reality, it's a tax on your impatience. Every time you finance something that depreciates, like a TV or a trip, you're paying an absurd premium for the privilege of having it a few months earlier. You're working to pay interest on your past decisions. What's normal is having a car loan and 3 revolving credit cards. What's intelligent is understanding that if you can't pay for it in cash today, you simply can't afford it. Compound interest is a force of nature. It either works for you or it devours you, and most people are on the menu. Habit number 5. No peace reserve. No emergency fund. The fifth habit is not having a peace reserve, also known as an emergency fund. Most people operate under the assumption that the future will look exactly like the present, ignoring the fact that life loves throwing curveballs. Normal is living at the edge of your paycheck's capacity and trusting the car won't break down, the boiler won't explode, or your company won't decide to restructure. Having no savings isn't only a financial risk, it's mental sabotage. When you don't have a cushion, you live in a constant low-level stress that affects your decision-making. You accept jobs you hate. You tolerate toxic bosses. You don't dare to start something on your own because the fear of going hungry paralyzes you. Being broke is a form of modern slavery that most people accept as normal. The 1% doesn't save only for money. They save for the option to say no, and saying no is the greatest luxury that exists. Habit number 6. Outsourcing your financial intelligence. The sixth habit is more subtle, but maybe the hardest to erase: completely outsourcing your financial intelligence. Normal is thinking money is boring, complicated, or dirty, and so you hand responsibility to your bank, to an advisor who earns commissions selling you garbage products, or worse, to luck. People spend more time planning a one-week vacation than planning their financial freedom for the next 30 years. They blindly trust the pension system, one that in 2026 looks like a Ponzi scheme wobbling on its last legs. Not reading one money book per year, not understanding how inflation works, not even knowing where your money is invested, is the equivalent of piloting an airplane with a blindfold on and hoping you land on a paradise island. Financial ignorance is the most expensive form of illiteracy on earth. Habit number 7. Investment myopia. Confusing saving with investing, or doing neither. Finally, the 7th habit is investment myopia, confusing saving with investing, or even worse, doing neither because it's risky. Normal is leaving your money sitting in a checking account where inflation eats it quietly year after year. People are terrified of losing 5% in the stock market, but they're not terrified of losing a huge portion of their purchasing power over their lifetime through currency devaluation. The habit of not putting your money to work guarantees you'll have to work for money until the day they bury you. In 2026, being a passive saver is a losing strategy. The rich don't work for money. They own assets that produce money. If your only financial engine is your own labor, you have one income source, and that makes you extremely vulnerable. In financial terms, being normal means being broke, stressed, and trapped in a hamster wheel of consumption and debt. Breaking these 7 habits doesn't require a PhD in economics. It requires brutal honesty in the mirror and the courage to be the weird one in the group. It's stopping the search for other people's approval through objects and starting the search for validation through freedom, through assets. This isn't a path of deprivation, it's a path of priorities. Money is a wonderful tool if you're its architect, but it's a ruthless whip if you're its slave. The next time you feel the urge to upgrade your lifestyle just because you can, or you decide to ignore that dripping subscription leak because it's not that much, remember this: every euro you let escape is a soldier that won't be able to fight for your future freedom. Don't settle for the normality of elegant poverty. Decide to become the architect of your own wealth. Educate your mind, and understand that the best moment to stop becoming poor without noticing was yesterday. The second best moment is today. And if this breakdown switched on a light in your financial strategy, don't stay stuck in reflection. Start today. Cut one parasitic expense or open that book you've been postponing. Share this with that friend who always wonders where their money goes halfway through the month. Maybe you'll save them a decade. Take the wheel of your future. Stop feeding the consumption system and start building your own empire of peace. See you in the next one. So we keep protecting your mind and your wallet. See you soon.